Hello. Today I'm trying out this Osmo DJI camera as I walk along the Sussex SouthDowns. I'm actually over Salvington Hill, really, walking north towards, I suppose if I kept going, I'd get to Storrington, but I'm not going to go that far. And I just thought I'd take the Osmo. It's not my camera, I should just point that out. It's actually my friend Dave's. And we're doing some tests because we may be using this Osmo camera for the Bald Explorer in our Odd World series. So I just thought I'd give it a whirl. There is nothing finer than getting out on a beautiful walk on the beautiful South Downs here in Sussex, where the paths are narrow in places and wide in others. It's July at the moment, and up here on the Downs, which is a national park, there is a mixture of arable and what's the opposite of arable? Cattle and sheep. Animals. So on my left, in this field here, you can see that there is wheat. I think it's wheat. And then in the far distance, there is some sheep grazing. And occasionally you get cattle too. Sometimes there's deer in some of the estates, but generally not just on their own. Today is a little bit misty. We've had such beautiful weather in July. It's been, I suppose, one of the nicest summers in the last, 10 years? Something like that. But today it's a little bit misty because we had rain last night down here in Sussex. We had thunderstorms, which was quite fun. The gardens need a bit of rain. I guess the crops also need a little bit of rain. So that's all essential. But because it's the South Downs, and because the Downs are principally chalk and flint, the rain, we're lucky here. The rain just goes, it sinks through the chalk and goes right down to the water table, which is why in the South Downs you don't find running down the hill streams. You don't find that because the water is already just sunk through. It's like a very big sponge. Yeah, have a look at how misty it all is. So I've been doing some tests recently on things to do on my YouTube channel, and one of the things I've been thinking about, of course, is to do some more Bald Explorer. People do seem to like the Bald Explorer. It isn't a cheap thing to do because you've got to get around the countryside, you've got to organise interviews with people, get access to places which aren't always easy to get access to. So it takes time, and of course, you know what they say, time is money, and that's very true. But I'm thinking of extending what I'm now doing for children as well. I thought I'd do a Bald Explorer for kids, which will be slightly different to the Bald Explorer as is. Obviously, I'm going to be explaining things in slightly simpler terms and looking at the geography rather than just the history and the heritage. I mean, the heritage and the history will be part of it very much, but I think it's important for kids to understand where they are in the landscape. And so that's the plan for the Bald Explorer for kids. I think it's a natural progression. I am already the patron of reading at a West London school, and I write my children's books, so I think this is probably the next step for me. and I can probably combine the two together. It's taking me a bit of a while to get used to this thing. And one of the great things about Britain, unlike many places, is because of its history and these paths. Some of these paths are very, very ancient, and you have rights as a walker or a rambler. There are things such as ramblers' rights, and you have the right to roam across the countryside, and even the landowners, if it's a proper designated footpath, they can't close it. They shouldn't. I know in certain parts of the country they do actually pull out some of the signposts, but that is actually illegal because they just don't want people to know that those paths exist. But we have a trump card, and that's the Ordnance Survey maps. And the Ordnance Survey maps has all these amazing crisscrossing little paths that wiggle around people's land, and so you can demand to cross the land because the path should be there. Sometimes you get crops in a field, and that's irritating for the farmer, because there's a path that goes right away through it. Well, I think it's fairly permissible if he's got a crop to allow you to walk around the path, around the crop. But sometimes they don't even do that. You know, they just say, well, you've got to decide for yourself whether you want to risk it or not, and plough through some pretty large, perhaps sweet corn or barley or, you know, whatever it is, wheat or something, at your peril. And then you, well, it's not so much your peril, it's the farmer's peril. It's really down to him to maintain these byways. So here, if I show you some of the views to my left here, get a little bit better view. Well, I've had a lovely walk. It's threatening rain now, which doesn't normally stop me. Just adjust this funny little gimbal thing. Still getting used to this Osmo camera. The wind is a bit blowy up here, so I hope you can hear me. But I'm going to head back now and get this uploaded and let you enjoy, such as it was, this little test with the Osmo DJI on the Sussex SouthDowns. It's been a fun walk. I wish it had been a bit brighter today. That would have just made it nicer. But it's also interesting to see how these sort of cameras work in the typical British low light environments. So from me, Richard Vobes, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch up with you again next time. Until then, goodbye.